Interesting. Oh, hello there. I almost didn't see you. It must be Wednesday at 11:45 a.m. Welcome to Dr. Devin's Wellness Wednesday Workshop. Today we're going to talk about something very important. First thing I have to say to you is, I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. Guess what we're going to talk about today? Fever! I'm going to talk about fever today because I was sick for the first time this weekend in 15 years. I had a bad fever, and guess what I took for it? Some essential oils, and that's it. I didn't want to decrease the fever. So, again, we're going to talk about fever today. As I like to tell people, fever is merely exercise for the immune system. When you get a fever is when you have to get your temperature to raise so that the bacteria and viruses can be knocked out and your body can heal. If you don't get that fever, then your body cannot completely heal you. According to Dr. R.E. Brown, who's a pediatrician in Austin, Texas, and also the spokesperson for the American Academy of Pediatrics, so they know quite a bit about pediatrics, nothing bad is going to happen if you don't treat the fever. That is a direct quote. Nothing bad is going to happen if you don't treat the fever. You always have over 100 trillion bacteria and viruses in your body. Even when you have no symptoms, they're always living in there. And they've actually found that after fever, most childhood developmental growth spurts happen. When you do have a fever, the things that are required are rest, fluids, no food, quiet, and toning down. So, kind of chilling out when you have a fever or your child has a fever. Fevers allow the waste to get out of the body, and it allows the body's immunity to reset. It's basically like pruning the immune system. If you ever take care of plants in your yard, you cut off the bad stuff, and then the new stuff grows bigger and fuller. So with immunity and fevers, you cut out the bad stuff, and then the immune system grows bigger and fuller. Some things about fever. How hot is too hot? There's not really much of a how hot is too hot. 108 degrees is probably too hot. No, it's definitely too hot. That's a medical emergency. But it's not really about the heat of the fever, because if your child has a 105-degree fever, but they are looking at you, they're talking to you, if they're an infant, they're babbling, if they're drinking, they're peeing, they're sleeping, you can arouse them from sleep, they're alert, they interact with you, and they're consolable, then that fever is just going to run its course. They've actually done studies, and less than 4% of fevers that get high cause febrile seizures, and febrile seizures do not cause any adverse ill effects. Actually, kids who get febrile seizures actually usually have a better immune system when they grow up. Not that I want your child to get febrile seizures. Don't get me wrong. That's very scary. But febrile seizures are nothing to worry about. What's worse than 105 fever with all of those things going on is if your child had 100.8 fever and you couldn't wake them up, they were lethargic, they wouldn't move, they weren't they weren't drinking, very inconsolable. That's the kind of fever you have to worry about. Really, you don't need to treat the number on the thermometer, you need to treat the child. So some rules for fever. Check on them every so often, and if they react, they're fine. Treat the child with the fever, not the fever itself. You can put some lavender on the tops of their ears, middle of the chest, and then going to the medicine over and over again, that's not going to help them at all. Acetaminophen is dangerous to the detoxification of children, and when you keep on giving it to them over and over again as a child, eventually in adulthood, their body can't detox well and they won't get the fevers that they need to. The more fevers you get as a child, the healthier you usually are as an adult. My tip for the week has nothing to do with fever because I already told you all my tips about fever. My tip is for you adults out there. Get plenty of rest. You need plenty of rest. The average adult needs between 7 and 9 hours of sleep every single night. Less than 6 hours and more than 9 hours can be a symptom of some serious underlying conditions. So 7 to 9 hours. I get 7.5 pretty much every single night. Your results may vary. Have a great Wellness Wednesday, and we'll see you next week. Bye.